In the 1970s and 1980s, a generation of Arab children discovered an unexpected classroom: the television. While textbooks taught grammar and rules, Japanese anime, carefully dubbed into modern standard Arabic, taught language through adventure, emotion, and story.
علي علي بطل صليد هيا بريا Grendizer بعزم علي حمما أرسل افتك بالأعداء.
Shows like Grendizer, Sindibad, and Captain Majed were more than entertainment. They were tools of learning, subtly shaping vocabulary, sentence structure, and even moral reasoning. These programs brought together two worlds: the imaginative storytelling of Japan and the linguistic and cultural frameworks of the Arab world.
أين أنا؟
لا تخافي يا ابنتي، أنت في أمان.
أين أنا؟ في أرض الأمل أم في القلعة؟
Through them, children absorbed Fusha not as a subject to memorize, but as a living language, intertwined with lessons in courage, loyalty, and empathy. The influx of Japanese anime into the Arab world was not accidental. By the 1970s, Japanese studios were exporting series that were technologically advanced, visually captivating, and narratively complex. Arab countries, particularly Egypt, Lebanon, and Syria, were quick to recognize their potential for mass appeal. Dubbing studios like Film Ali, Al-Sharq Al-Adna in Lebanon, and Venus Center in Syria began translating these shows, taking care to maintain the emotional intensity and dramatic pacing of the originals. However, rather than using colloquial Arabic, many studios opted for modern standard Arabic. The decision was both practical and deliberate. Fusha could reach audiences across linguistic and national divides. A child in Beirut or Cairo could watch the same episode, understand the dialogue, and absorb the formal language. Shows like Abtal al-Mala'ib were broadcast with heroic narration and elevated language, introducing a generation to expressive, structured Arabic in a way few textbooks ever could.
أجاد أسلوبه الخاص من خلال حماسه لكرة القدم.
كابتن ياسين، إني أقدر حميد وأصدقائه الشباب الشجعان على لاعبهم الرائع.
Dubbing was a meticulous process. Translators and voice actors collaborated to preserve narrative intent while localizing cultural nuances. Japanese idioms were adapted, jokes were transformed, and occasional moral elements were modified to resonate with Arab audiences. This adaptation was not merely linguistic, it was cultural.
ماذا؟ ثلج في فصل الربيع؟
في الجبال يتقلب الطقس دائما يا ساسوكي.
Anime became a bridge. Japanese stories carried universal themes of heroism and friendship, while Arabic dubbing grounded these narratives in familiar social and moral frameworks. In doing so, the shows not only entertained, but educated, creating a subtle yet powerful pedagogical tool. Modern standard Arabic is often considered abstract by children, confined to school lessons and formal texts. Anime transformed this abstraction into something tangible. Dialogue, narration, and character interactions consistently exposed children to complex sentence structures, precise vocabulary, and literary expressions. The repeated exposure to Fusha enabled children to internalize grammar intuitively. Monologues by heroic characters, expressive dialogues, and serialized storytelling all created patterns that reinforced language learning without the conscious effort required in traditional classrooms. For example, in Treasure Island, the elevated dialogue of the protagonist not only conveyed urgency and emotion, but also modeled formal Arabic structures.
يا جيم، إذا قرر الإنسان أن يفعل شيئا فلا فرق لا فرق إن كان عنده ساق أو ساقان، المهم هو أن يصل إلى هدفه بأسرع فرصة، وهذه هي فلسفتي في الحياة. على الإنسان أن تكون عنده إرادة الوصول كي يستطيع أن يصل.
Children memorized phrases, understood sentence construction, and developed comprehension skills simply by following the story.
ولكن هل البقاء على قيد الحياة كل شيء في الدنيا؟ كلا يا بني، نحن بشر، وأمام كل إنسان رسالة يؤديها في الحياة يفيد بها الآخرين ويستفيد، وبقاؤنا هنا كالعدم.
Likewise, Flonah used narrative exposition to introduce descriptive vocabulary and nuanced emotional language. These series turned repetition into a teaching mechanism, reinforcing language patterns over weeks and months. By the time children grew older, many could read, write, and articulate in Fusha far beyond their peers who had only studied it academically. Educational research supports this kind of language acquisition. Exposure to meaningful, narrative-driven content increases retention and comprehension far more effectively than rote memorization. Anime therefore acted as an immersive linguistic environment where children unconsciously absorbed rules, vocabulary, and stylistic nuances. It was entertainment disguised as education, and education disguised as entertainment. A perfect synthesis of learning and storytelling. This fusion created a subtle yet profound moral education. Children learned ethical decision-making and empathy alongside vocabulary and grammar. Japanese values did not supplant Arab traditions. Instead, they reinforced them, providing examples of virtuous behavior that resonated culturally. These stories offered aspirational figures, guiding children toward moral ideals while simultaneously cultivating language proficiency. This dual purpose made anime a uniquely effective medium for shaping both intellect and character.
ربتها متعبتان، لا أقدر أن أسير وحدي. أتحملني إلى الضفة الثانية من النهر؟
نعم، سأفعل ذلك من أجلك.
صحيح ستفعل؟ شكرا. أدر لي ظهرك.
Anime's impact went beyond vocabulary and values. It created a rhythmic learning environment where dialogue, repetition, plot regression, and emotional engagement reinforced cognitive development. Watching episodes regularly allowed children to internalize sentence structures, acquire new words, and improve comprehension. These stories' moral stakes and emotional depth also encouraged reflection and critical thinking. Parents often observed their children reading and writing more effectively, discussing storylines with clarity and expressing themselves with richer vocabulary.
انظر النهر. زينة دعينا نذهب من هنا. لا نستطيع، أجنحتنا مبلولة. يجب أن نجفف أجنحتنا أولا كي نطير، وإلا سنبقى هنا طويلا.
The effect extended to social learning as well. Children engaged with shared narratives, discussing episodes, and quoting lines in modern standard Arabic. This created an informal community of learners where Fusha was not limited to classrooms or formal writing, but lived in conversation, debate, and imaginative play. In this way, anime functioned as an immersive, continuous educational experience, reinforcing linguistic and moral skills over time. The influence of dubbed anime is evident even today. Generations who grew up with these shows often recall their first exposure to elevated Arabic through heroic monologues and compelling dialogues rather than textbooks. Anime created a shared cultural touchstone across Arab nations, uniting children through language, story, and values. It demonstrated that formal Arabic could be accessible, relatable, and even entertaining. These shows also laid the groundwork for a greater appreciation of global storytelling, teaching children to engage critically with narratives from other cultures while maintaining a connection to their own.
وردة جميلة متفتحة
In effect, anime bridged gaps between formal and colloquial language, between foreign and local values, and between imagination and learning. It was a subtle, indirect, yet remarkably effective classroom, one that nurtured language proficiency, moral reasoning, and cultural literacy simultaneously. The experiences of those who grew up with dubbed anime reflect the lasting power of storytelling as an educational tool and the profound impact that seemingly simple entertainment can have on a generation. Now, let me contextualize again, but on a personal level. This was Japanese anime, a visual world that was foreign to me and most likely to all Arabs. These were Japanese stories, morals, and values. True, they were universally human and positive, but they were still all foreign. This also wasn't colloquial Arabic. It wasn't the language my parents spoke to me with. Arabic was my mother tongue, yes, for sure, but this Arabic was different. The first moments I would truly experience this language was in the first years of elementary schooling. Yet still, these dubbed versions of Japanese anime broke barriers.
جدك وحش وينوي الاستئثار بالطاقة الشمسية. هل تفهمين؟
غير صحيح، هذا كذب كذب.
إذن لماذا هرب منا واختفى؟ تكلمي.
لأن الفساد عم القلعة بأسرها على ما أظن. نعم، إنه الفساد.
Japanese anime of the 1970s and 1980s did something extraordinary in the Arab world. Through careful dubbing, narrative adaptation, and moral alignment, these shows became informal teachers of modern standard Arabic, imparting vocabulary, grammar, and stylistic fluency while simultaneously nurturing ethical reflection and cultural cohesion. They offered children a portal into worlds of adventure, heroism, and imagination, and in doing so, they created a generation fluent not only in language, but in values.
Grendizer,
Anime, once seen merely as entertainment, was in fact a subtle, enduring classroom. Proof that stories, even foreign, when told with care and intention, can shape minds, hearts, and cultures in ways that last a lifetime.